get on here today and have a discussion about the term you've probably heard before, the two-world split. There have been many mystics that have come before me who have talked about this theory about the world splitting into two. One of them being Dolores Canon. I don't know if you've ever heard of her, but if you haven't, you might check out her work. She goes extensively into the two-world split. Enjoy listening to is GiGi Young, and the Leo King, he talks extensively also about this two-world separation. I don't know if you've noticed, but we are coexisting within one world with splitting consciousness of humanity. Transhumanism and the natural human. We are all deciding at this point in time if we're going to pick a divergent timeline or a direct timeline. A divergent timeline would be an inverted timeline, meaning everything becomes synthetic within the human. The human loses their natural human body. They lose their natural human consciousness. And then once they make, through decision and through choice alone, when one decides to choose the divergent timeline, you tether into what Rudolph Steiner would call the eighth sphere. And whenever you tether into the eighth sphere, that's the chaotic realm. Now, a lot of psychics, they channel entities, unfortunately, are tethering into the eighth sphere and they're not aware of it. Because when you start to tether into the eighth sphere, it is a trickster sphere. It's a trickster realm where you have to, basically anybody who practices this work will experience the eighth sphere at some point. But in other ancient civilizations, they would have be initiated into doing this kind of work. We've lost that knowledge, and so we're no longer allowing initiations, or we're no longer talking about initiations. So anybody can tap into the eighth sphere and be unaware and be fooled completely by the eighth sphere because it's extremely enticing and you think you're really doing a service when really you are just tapping into parasitic entities that are trying to basically feast on humanity. And I know that this is very heavy for some people to watch or listen to, but basically that's one timeline that humanity is choosing or going to have to make a choice. The other timeline is to tether into the higher earth. The earth has a higher self. The earth also has a rebirth, and that's what's currently occurring on our planet. There are some people who are going to choose a synthetic existence. They're going to choose synthetically being able to have the ability to have Neuralink or some sort of technology implanted in them to be able to be psychic or to be able to download information and not have to learn it organically. And this is a real place that people are choosing, humanity is going to choose to go or not. The other choice is the direct choice. And there are beings in our future that have already been here through this experience who have already picked the divergent timeline. And a lot of them are coming out and talking to psychics and trying to display themselves as gods or as higher beings. I will tell you, if you are ever communicating with a being, for one, higher beings want to initiate you. They are about sovereignty. They are not going to hold themselves as higher than you. They're never going to come forward to you and indicate to you that they are above you. They're always going to have the feeling of love and give off the feeling of love. So that's how you know you're actually communicating with a non-divergent being versus a direct being. That is the two-world split we're all experiencing. You probably all are starting to notice it, and it is going to get even more clear over time. We are in the middle of a dark age where we are starting to move slowly into a golden age where these two split offs are going to become even more evident. You're either going to tether yourself to the 8th sphere, or you're going to choose to tether yourself to the new earth. And all of us are going to have to make that decision. It's not going to be an easy one. I have to make that decision. Everybody has to make that decision. So it all starts with transhumanism. It starts with becoming machine-like. Humans that want to choose that, and they're going to choose their own timeline with that. It's all about the choices we make. It's a very important moment in time to be alive. We'll have to make this decision for ourselves. Nobody's going to save you, or any entity or any group of entities that come to tell you that they're going to save you. That's a divergent entity. Transhumanism and on a divergent timeline, the Greys are one example of a divergent timeline. This information from GiGi Young, you should check her out. She specializes in cosmic information. So when she brought this information, it really just opened my mind to, whoa, this is what I've been experiencing as well. But somebody was able to put it into words for me, and I'm sure a lot of you will also feel this way when you hear it. And again, Dolores Canon and Rudolph Steiner has been talking about this since the 1800s. He's been talking about how transhumanism is eventually going to be where the world splits. So there will be a moment in time when I believe this is our last reincarnation on this specific planet. I believe when you, depending on what work you do, where you tether your consciousness, if you tether it to the 8th sphere, the new earth, is all dependent upon how sovereign you are, how clear you are and who you are, know thyself, and how much internal work and shadow work you've done to be able to look at yourself and pull out all of the darker aspects of you, because that's what these parasitic individuals in this world want, is they want to live forever. They want to create a life where they don't have to die, because when you pass away, the bodysuit is split and it's open, and you have to face every dark part of you. So you better have looked and worked on all those aspects of yourself, because and you know, I'm not trying to say this to scare people. This is just really what we're facing as far as the cosmic civilization. We're being confronted with these really real technologies and things that our consciousness isn't prepared for. So, you know, you should always ask the intent of any one person or any one entity. You need to know the intent. You need to feel it in your body, and do not let looks alone make you decide how something or someone is. It needs to be, how does that individual or entity feel inside? That's why discernment is so important to harness right now, to be able to discern lies from reality, because it's really hard if you haven't harnessed that intuition within yourself to be able to discern. Again, there's going to come a time, and I want that for our civilization, where you shouldn't need people like me or anybody else to tell you what information is what. It's important to start being able to discern that information from within you. And there are going to be some teachers out there that resonate with you, and maybe only a little bit of their information does, and then there's going to be other teachers that resonate with you, and then you know, none of their information does. After this, you probably have noticed. That's because literally right now there's a two-world split occurring within our consciousness. There are spiritual teachers you're going to be like, what happened to them? And then there are going to be spiritual teachers that you're like, yes, this is exactly how I've been feeling in this world, because we're watching it happen in real time. When we all pass away, we're not incarnating to the same earth that we once did. We are choosing timelines now, and it's always ever changing. So if you're hearing different information from one teacher, it's because it depends on the timeline that they're choosing to tap into. So that is the two-world split. You're going to be seeing it in astrology. You're going to be seeing it in spirituality. You're going to be seeing it in politics. You're going to be seeing it in the world around you. So what is your choice? And I can't tell you what that choice is. All I can tell you is what I've learned and what I've been feeling. And I guarantee a lot of you have been feeling it too. So we're learning cosmic history, which this cosmic information that's coming forward from what I've been researching is new. So there are going to be cosmic psychics that start coming forward. They start coming forward and giving information about how science and spirituality are connected, and science is going to start being able to physically show that. Now, the intentions of people when they show that is all that, like I said before in this video, is what's the most important. What is everyone's intentions whenever they find out new information? That's why, a lot of us in the spiritual community, not everybody, but a lot of us feel really uncomfortable with the fact that Jeff Bezos went to space and all these rich elite people are having access to our space, because let me tell you, there is initiations even for that. You don't get to just go poke around places in the cosmos just because you think it's going to be fun. That's not how this works. All of the information is inside of you. All the information about the planets is inside of you. You're connected to each planet. There's initiations for each planet. The moon and Venus and Jupiter, we all are initiated through those planets. That's why we have natal charts. That's why we have astrology, is because each planet is an initiator, and you either pass the initiation or you don't. These divergent beings did not pass initiations. They failed them. That's why they are where they are. That's why they're mutated. It's because they failed their initiations. They chose the easier route, the transhumanism route, versus the harder one where you have to face your darkness. So we're at a real moment in our history that we've never been in before, and it's here. So from a human point, not from a spiritual teacher point, I'm going to choose the natural human path. That is going to be a difficult path because everybody else is asking for you to just choose the hall pass, just choose the easiest way. But the easiest way isn't always the right way. And that's what we have to learn as a civilization, is that there is a process to advancement. And it's not just because you have money to do it. It's through initiation. It's through galactic beings coming forward to teach us what not to do to ourselves. Not that they're gods. Just because they have higher technology does not mean that they're more advanced. It means that they've chosen to completely let go of their emotional body and not have access to it anymore. So that's another way to know if you're talking to a divergent being or a higher being. A higher being is going to have that emotional connection to you. They're going to teach you, they're going to connect with you like they are an equal being. Not that they're a higher being. If you have an entity coming forward that's indicating to you that they're higher than you, they're a divergent being, and you need to tell them to leave you alone. I'm going to leave you with this information, this last little bit of information. I appreciate you all watching me and watching my videos, but it's a really huge point in time, and it's really important that we all start taking responsibility for our own consciousness. And it's hard, and it's not a savory message, and I'm really sorry, and I want to give you savory messages as well. But there's a point in time when people in the spiritual communities especially, they have to speak up. We have been harnessing our intuition all this time. And now is the time to really feel what is right for humanity and what is not right for humanity. And that's something you can feel. You don't have to be told that. You don't have to be all up in your head with statistics and numbers. All you have to do is sit and go, does this feel right? Maybe we don't have the answer to what it should be, but we do have an answer on what feels right and what does not. So, I'm just going to leave you with that information, is what does it feel like? And it's really so crucial that each of you find out how things feel and don't numb out. Don't numb out on your phone. It's just crucial that you start to actually feel your emotions. And I understand it's overwhelming. I completely understand, because it is overwhelming. We're watching a world that we once knew very well or thought we did completely change. And that's not easy for some people, but this is our initiation. This is the moment in time you decide where you're headed. And that's going to be different for everyone. But you have to really sit and feel what that is for you. And no one should tell you what it is. You have to make that decision. All I can do is present the information that I've found and that I feel intuitively. I'm going to leave you with this. Those who have been in control of our world for a millennia want us to keep fighting. They want war. Peace destroys their plan, terrifies them. And I found that information of that statement on Ask Claudia on her webpage if you want to look at her other articles. Are we going to tether into the different worlds, or are we going to stay connected through the heart? So, it's really go time. It's really important that we all decide where we're going to tether our energy and our consciousness to. It's your responsibility to decide that. And I'm here to answer any questions that I can, but I suggest you go and you do research. You look into things. And you need to decipher this for yourself. This is the time to do it, to find information about, Rudolph Steiner is great. GiGi Young, she's great. Leo King, he's excellent. Read Dolores Canon information. There's so many mystics out there that are just trying their hardest to bring this information out. Go seek them and then decipher how you feel about it. Look all directions, all sides. And I'm going to leave with this, that we have become an overly science-based civilization that thinks only, but has chosen no longer to feel. We can't lose feelings for each other. We can't lose the passion we have for humanity. We can't. If we do, we're just effed. And if you find yourself hating your fellow human, you really need to get yourself in check, because that is a divergent behavior. That alone is going to tether you. So open your heart and start to feel again. It's go time. You have to. So this is my plea to you, to please join me in speaking your truth and not being afraid to do it, and also opening your heart again, because we all have to make a decision. All right, that's all I have for you today. I'm going to be making a lot less heavy content. I'll be doing tarot readings next, and I'll be doing each zodiac sign. But again, what kind of spiritual person or mystic would I be if I didn't tell you what I'm finding, what I'm learning, what I know and feel to be true? And so maybe some of you don't feel so alone in the way that you're feeling. And, we all just have to come together, and that's all there is to it. And we all have to make the decision to be human, because that's what we are. And this earth is beautiful, and so is this life. This life can be beautiful. It doesn't have to be based in fear. All right. Much love to you.